is the Jeopardy Tournament of Champions. Let's meet today's quarterfinalists. An education professional from Flint, Michigan, Chad Mosier. A video production technician from Hopkinton, Massachusetts, Mike Duvall. And a CPA from Pennsboro, West Virginia, Tad Hutkins. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Jason Anthony. Thank you, folks, and welcome to the Jeopardy Tournament of Champions here at PYLP. We've got Chad over there in the end, who's won a couple of these in the past, and Chad and Mike, who have competed in them in the past. They're hoping to make it out of this quarterfinal round and into the semifinals with a win today. But, of course, the highest non-winning scores will be wildcards going to that semifinals. There's room for 9 of you, so you 3, let's play Jeopardy! And on the board in the first round, these 6 categories. We have Get Your Facts Straight, National Anthems, Storms, HBO shows, Veep, and The Wire. And Wire will turn up in all of your responses. Tad, you're in first position by a lot, so you get the first pick.
HBO shows for 200, please.
All right, the answer is, in 2019, Meryl Streep joined the cast of Big Little These. Chad.
What Are Lies?
Yes.
HBO for 400.
If you worked at this amusement park of the future, it was best to stay away from Ed Harris. Mike.
What is Westworld?
Yes.
Sorry, one sec. I got the chat log thing. I'm so sorry. HBO shows for 600.
On recent episodes of this show, Larry David takes on side-sitting, Ted Danson, in a coffee shop called Mocha Joe's. Chad.
What is Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes.
HBO for 800.
The smoldering photo seen here has been used to promote this current event series. Mike.
What is Last Week Tonight?
That's the show.
HBO for 1,000.
SNL alum Bill Hader is killer on this comedy/drama/crime series that's hard to put in a genre. Mike.
What is Barry?
That's the show, and you're back in control.
National Anthems for 200.
A new second stanza of this British anthem was adopted in 1946. Chad.
What is God Save the Queen?
Yes.
National Anthems for 400.
This huge country boasts from the southern seas to the polar realm, our forests and fields stretch. Chad.
What is Canada?
No. Mike or Chad? Mike.
What is Russia?
Russia, yes.
Cool. National Anthem 600.
Romanians would get along with New Hampshireites as they sing of being either this or dead. Tad.
What is Live Free?
No. Mike.
What is free?
Yeah, added a word there which would make it true for our national anthem in question. So, Mike, we're back to you.
National Anthems 8.
Until 2003, Land of Two Rivers was the anthem of this country whose history goes back thousands of years. Mike.
What is Iraq?
That's it.
National Anthems 1,000, please.
King Christian Stood by the Lofty Mast is the anthem of this country that's had 10 King Christians. Ted.
What is Norway?
No. Chad.
What is Denmark?
Denmark is right and adds 1,000 to your score.
I'd like The Wire for 400.
For 400, the answer is
Yes.
Heloise straightens these and hangs bird feeders from them. Joan Crawford would not approve. Tad.
What are wire hangers?
Correct.
The Wire 200.
It's a semicircular support sewn into the cups of braziers. Mike.
What is an underwire?
Yes.
Wire for 6.
Before the invention of this, West Texas had very few fences. Mike.
What is barbed wire?
Correct.
Wire for 8.
To install these, FBI agents must abide by U.S. Code Title 18, Section 2516, and get a judge's approval. Mike.
What is a wire tap?
Correct.
Wire 1,000.
Answer. Though faster than USB at the time, this connection standard backed by Apple didn't catch on. Chad.
What is Firewire?
Firewire is the wire, and you have 1,000 more, taking it to 3,000. That's behind Mike, who has 5,600. Tad in the red, but that could change as we continue playing Jeopardy, which we'll do after this. Well, Chad's written one or two of these before, but your skill as a trivia player and trivia writer got you in a, I think, a fairly rarefied group that 2 people used you for.
That what?
That two people use you for on a certain game show.
Oh, yes. Well, I have been a writer for My Trivia Live myself, and I am now currently writing the online game for Jeopardy, among some other people, which is kind of exciting.
But perhaps two people on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thought this was good.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You want to restart this? Because I didn't understand what the hell you were talking about.
That's fine. So your trivia writing skill that you have just outlined has gotten you
yes, okay.
brought into
I see what you're picking up. Yeah, so in previous years, back when this was a thing on the television program, I was in line to be phone a friends on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But circumstances did not permit me to appear, unfortunately, in that capacity. One person didn't make it far enough in the game to use her lifeline, and then the other one chose somebody else instead of me, and they got it right anyway. But I got to have my picture on TV before I actually made it on the show.
I was hoping that it would be like, they picked their cousin and got it wrong, and this would be your comeuppance for them.
No, it made me sad because they didn't even get a chance to not use me if they wanted to. They went for a double dip and asked the expert combination, and it just didn't work out.
Right. Let's talk to another expert here, Mike. This is fun. You accidentally shaved your head. Now, how did this happen?
It's not a recent story, unfortunately, although that time is probably growing pretty near. It was a few years ago. I was trying to save money for my wedding, and I figured what better way to save a quick $20 than to buy a haircut kit and try to give myself haircuts rather than, spend money at a barbershop.
Yeah.
Then, as it turned out, I was holding the razor the wrong way. And I started, basically doing the skunk line right down the middle and noticed it was way too short. And we just had to commit to it at that point.
So your wedding photos look like a whole different Mike is what you're telling me.
Yeah, well, thankfully it was about 8 months before my wedding, so I had plenty of time to grow it back out.
I see. All to save $20. Hey, speaking of money, though, Tad, I wouldn't think in your line of work there would be such a thing as you being bribed, but you've been bribed at your job?
One time I was doing an audit, and for some reason the mayor came and wanted to bribe me, but it really wasn't that good. He tried to bribe me with a 10-pound bag of apples.
Do you like apples, Tad?
Not that much. I will say, on my way back away from the audit, I took that bag of apples and donated it to a food bank, and that was the best my car has smelled in a long time with that bag of apples.
Ooh, too much information, Mike. Okay. Let's see. We talked about Firewire last with Chad. So, Chad, you have the selection of the board.
All right. I'd like to play Veep for 800.
All right. The answer is Daily Double. Good news for you, perhaps not good for Tad and Mike. You have 3,000 to work with.
It's early, as they say. Let's make it a true Daily Double.
Alrighty. 3,000 at stake on this clue. He was the last Democratic vice president to become president.
Who is LBJ?
LBJ is right.
All right.
We're going to add the 3,000, make it 6. You've got the lead. Go again.
That's a good question. Let's do Veep for 200.
He never actually said he invented the internet, but he did tell an inconvenient truth in 2006. Mike.
Who was Al Gore?
Correct.
Veep for 400?
He was elected to the Senate in 1791, defeating Alexander Hamilton's father-in-law. Mike.
Who is Aaron Burr?
Correct.
Veep 6?
Just hours after resigning as vice president, he was sentenced to 3 years probation and a $10,000 fine. Chad.
Who was Agnew?
Correct.
Veep for 1,000.
While mayor of Minneapolis in 1947, he helped found Americans for Democratic Action. Chad.
Who is Humphrey?
Hubert Humphrey, yes.
Get your facts straight for 200.
Marmaduke is a comic strip dog. This is a preserve usually made from Seville oranges. Tad.
What is marmalade?
Correct.
Thank you! I got one! Check your facts straight for 400.
Oh, what?
Same category, 400.
Okay, the answer. An infraction is a breach, as of rules. A myocardial this is a heart attack. Mike.
What is infarction?
Correct.
Facts for 6?
Tarantino is a director. This is a rapid whirling dance named for an Italian city. Chad.
What's the Tarantella?
Yes.
Facts for 800.
Elder is a species of tree. Eider is a species of this. Tad.
What's a goose?
No. Mike or Chad? What is a duck?
Oh,
Chad.
Facts for 1,000.
The Oresteia is a trilogy by Ekeless. This is a Swedish glass factory. Oh, I remember it well from Price is Right. What is Orifors? Go back to Chad.
Oh, okay. Storms for 200.
In March 1888, one of these blinding snowstorms struck the East Coast, creating 40 to 50-foot snowdrifts. Chad.
What is a blizzard?
Yes.
Storms for 4.
The one before Katrina was named Irene. Chad.
What's a hurricane?
Correct.
600.
In the 1980s, researchers put Toto, a 400-pound package of instruments, in the paths of these storms. Mike.
What are tornadoes?
Correct.
Storms 8.
This begins with a stepped leader that extends down from a cloud. Tad.
what's a waterspout?
No. Chad.
What's a lightning storm?
Lightning is all
lightning?
we need.
Okay.
Now the last clue in storms. A thunderstorm cloud, technically called this, can reach altitudes of 7 miles and above. That's cumulonimbus, but we've got Mike at 7,200. He's playing second to Chad's 9,600. Tad 3,000 in the hole, but Double Jeopardy could change all that, and we'll play that round right after these words. All right, folks at home have had a chance to calm down. Whether our players here have had that same chance, we don't know, but we have these Double Jeopardy categories for them. We have agriculture, slang, kernels about crooners, thrillers and mysteries, flags, and finally, general knowledge. Tad, you go first.
Agriculture 400.
Answer. This type of grain storage unit shares its name with an underground installation designed to house guided missiles. Mike.
What is a silo?
Correct.
Flags for 12.
During its modern history, this country has had several flags, most depicting the temple of Angkor Wat. Mike.
What is Cambodia?
Correct.
Flags 16.
Answer is the Daily Double. Okay. You've got 8,800 right now, 800 less than Chad.
6,000.
6,000. Here is the clue in flags. The flag of the United Nations has a map of the world framed by two of these.
What are laurels?
No, they would be olive branches.
Yeah, that's...
Olive branches. Going to cost you 6, but a lot of game up there to play, as you can see. Go again, Mike.
All right, flags for 2,000.
The flag of this Canadian province is basically the cross of St. Andrew with reverse colors. Mike.
What is Nova Scotia?
Correct.
Slang for 12.
A schmata in Yiddish, it meant to dance in the early 1900s and to make fun of in the 20s and 90s. That would be rag.
Oh, slang for 16.
This amount of money can be known as half a yard. That would be 50 bucks. I'm doing my Who Dares Wins bit. Mike.
General knowledge for 800.
The answer. Einstein published his special theory of it in 1905 and his general theory of it in 1915. Tad.
What is relativity?
Correct.
Agriculture 800.
First planted in Brazil around 1727, by the 19th century it was the country's top export. Tad.
What is coffee?
You're right.
Agriculture 1200.
Answer the other Daily Double. Tad, you can risk up to 2,000.
I gotta go for $2,000.
All right, let's see the clue then in agriculture. A Malay word that means rice gave us this term for a certain area used in agriculture.
What is paddy?
Paddy is right, and that adds 2,000 to your total. You're out of the red, into the blue, and back to the board.
I need a big round of applause for that. Agriculture 1600.
The Department of Agriculture's official seal features corn and this farm implement. What is a plow? Tad?
Agriculture 2000.
Nitrogen fertilizers are produced primarily from this gas. What is ammonia? Tad?
Kernels about crooners for 400.
He was chairman of the board. Chad.
Who was Frank Sinatra?
Yes.
Crooner's 800.
Lady Gaga went cheek to cheek with him. Chad.
Who was Tony Bennett?
Yes.
Colonels for 12.
His epitaph is everybody loves somebody sometime. That would be Dean Martin. Chad?
Okay. 1600 for Crooners.
It said Elvis shot at a TV showing this man. Who is Robert Goulet. Ooh,
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Crooners for 2000.
He won an Oscar for Going My Way. Who is Bing Crosby. We're out of crooners, Chad.
We are 3 top-notch contestants. I'd like to remind everybody at home about that. Let's go to general knowledge for 1200.
In the Army, GI has been an initialism for general or government this. Tad.
What is issue?
Yes.
General knowledge, 400.
3 Cheerios to this cereal company that at one time owned Parker Brothers and Lionel Trains. Mike.
What is General Mills?
Yes.
Flags for 800?
This word for the upper left part of a flag is a place name on maps of China and Ohio. Mike.
What is a canton?
Yes.
Flags for 400?
On New York State flag, 2 ships are sailing on this river. Chad.
What's the Hudson?
Yes.
General for 16.
The General Sherman, the world's largest currently living tree, is found in this national park. Tad.
What is Yosemite?
No. Mike.
What is Sequoia?
Sequoia is right. Go again.
General for 2000?
Manufactured between 1941 and 1996, the full-size 98 was the flagship model of this General Motors division. Tad.
What is Oldsmobile?
You're right for 2000.
Okay. Slang for 400.
Ask a Cockney barber for a dig in the grave, and he should give you one of these. Tad.
What's a shave?
Yes.
Slang 800.
Today it means to imitate musical instruments with your mouth, but in the 80s, this term was a euphemism for a drum machine. Mike.
What is beatbox?
Yes.
Slang 2000?
In Oxford English Dictionary, this body part as a verb means to walk. In Variety, it means to leave your job. And that would be ankle. One category left, Mike.
400, please.
Numbers can kill. Shelley Fraydone and Parnell Hall both wrote murder mysteries with this type of puzzle in the title. Chad.
What's a Sudoku?
Yes.
800.
Secrets and conspiracies play out in this 2003 thriller whose cover was graced by the eyes of the Mona Lisa. Mike.
What is the Da Vinci Code?
Correct.
1200?
A commuter named Rachel is one of 3 narrators in Paula Hawkins' thriller The Girl on This. Chad.
What's the train?
Yes.
1600.
Chapter 1 of this classic is Spade and Archer. Mike.
What is Maltese Falcon?
Yes, 1601
2000.
on the last clue. Yep, and thrillers and mysteries.
Yep, sorry.
That's okay. Lethal White is a 2018 mystery she wrote under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. Mike.
Who's J.K. Rowling?
Rolling, yes, and that adds 2,000 to your total, giving you 12,008. That can't be right. 12,800 for Mike, 12,800 for Chad. Tad at 2,600. Let's all look together at our final Jeopardy category, shall we? Going to be an interesting one. It is sports first. We'll be back with the clue right after these words. We were discussing over the break, this is the first tie going into Final Jeopardy, certainly in the quarterfinals. We'll see how it resolves with this clue in sports first. Located west of the Mississippi, it's the first city that hosted a World Series, Super Bowl, and NBA Finals. some last-minute scribbling we're going to resolve here in just a second, but we got some change afoot. Let's see what happened if it was a positive change at that. I saw Tad furiously going there at the end. We're going to start with him. He was in third place. Let's see what he put as his response. First he was going for St. Louis, and then he went for Seattle. I'm sorry, that's an incorrect response. Your wager was $25.99. It's going to leave you with $1. Let's now check in with Mike. He's on my left, and he's in a tie with Chad. Can that be broken right now with the correct response? He said, what is Phoenix? I'm sorry, that is incorrect. So we are going to break the tie, and to what degree?
Break the tie the wrong way.
$10,599 is where you're ending up in this game. Chad, let's see what you put down with $12,800. Did you put either of the two responses we've seen thus far? You put down what is Los Angeles? 1959, the World Series. 1967, the first Super Bowl. And 1962 for NBA Finals. Your wager was $1.
God damn it.
You are a senior finalist.
All right.
Mike, Tad, hang on to those scores because they could become wild card scores in our next round. But until the next time we all meet for Jeopardy, this is Jason Anthony saying so long.
Good game, gentlemen.
Good game. I talked myself out of Los Angeles, though, so that sucks.
It was the first one that popped in my head, and I don't know anything about these, so I just went for it. I figured, that the Dodgers would do well, and maybe the Lakers would do well, and I know they hosted a Super Bowl, so that was my luck.
The problem is Los Angeles didn't
It
really
felt
have
too
a
obvious,
team.
though.